Everyone, now I am going to discuss you about the respiratory volume and the capacity. This is very important for the NEET examination. So they will ask frequent question on this volume and the capacity. On an average, a healthy human breathes 12 to 16 times per minute. So we will discuss different types of the volumes, respiratory volumes. First, let us discuss the tidal volume. Tidal volume definition as well as the values. Tidal volume, the volume of the air inspired or the expired during the normal respiration, it is called as the tidal volume. The approximate volume of this tidal volume is the 500 ml. And if you remember only this thing, enough. And 500 ml into 12, it is called as 60, and 500 into 16 is 80. Inspirated reserve volume. What do you mean by inspirated reserve volume definition? The additional volume of air a person can inspire by the forceful inspiration, it is called as the inspirated reserve volume. It will be averages about 2500 to 3000 ml. Expirated reserve volume, the additional volume of air a person can expire by forcible expiration. This is normal respiration, this is forcible inspiration, this is forcible expiration. Residual volume, the volume of the air remaining in the lungs even after a forcible expiration is called as the residual volume. It is approximately 1100 ml to 1200 ml. Inspiratory capacity, the total volume of air a person can inspire after a normal expiration, it is called as the inspiratory capacity. So tidal volume along with that of the inspirated reserve volume, it is called as the inspiratory capacity. So if you add these two values, 500 plus 2500, so the value it is equal to inspiratory capacity. Expiratory capacity, expirated reserve volume along with that of the residual volume, it is called as the expiratory capacity. The total volume of air a person can expire after normal inspiration, it is normal expiration, it is reverse. Okay, so highlighted. Functional residual volume, the volume of the air that will remain in the lungs after a normal expiration, it is called as the functional residual volume. But for residual volume, it is remaining in the lungs after forcible expiration, it is called as the residual volume. Then functional residual volume, expiratory reserve volume along with that of the residual volume, it is called as the functional residual volume. Then what do you mean by vital capacity? Vital capacity, the maximum volume of the air a person can breathe in after a forced expiration, it's called as the vital volume. Vital capacity. Then vital capacity means expiratory reserve volume, tidal volume along with that of the inspiratory reserve volume. What do you mean by total lung capacity? Total lung capacity means residual volume, expirated reserve volume, tidal volume, inspirated reserve volume, all this will come under the total lung capacity. What is the definition of this? The total volume of the air accommodated in the lungs at end of the forced inspiration is called as the total lung capacity. Then we have one of the trick for this, how to remember. Theory H5A. Theory means T means T, tidal volume, E means expirated reserve volume, R residual volume, I inspirated reserve volume, F means functional residual capacity, I means inspiratory capacity, vital capacity, expiratory capacity. If you won't remember the value, you just write this trick and 5, 10, 11, 12 and 25 and 30. You just write this number, enough. Another one more, we have one of the diagram for this, that is tidal volume. This is the tidal volume, common, and inspirated reserve volume, expirated reserve volume. Tidal volume along with that of the inspirated reserve volume, it is called as the inspiratory capacity. Tidal volume along with that of the expirated reserve volume, it is called as the expiratory capacity. Now vital capacity means inspiratory capacity along with that of the expiratory capacity and tidal volume. These three are called as the vital capacity. Then total lung capacity means inspiratory capacity, tidal volume, expirated reserve volume and the residual volume. All this will come under the total lung capacity. Then functional residual volume means only expirated reserve volume and residual volume. This only comes under the functional residual capacity. Then now we will discuss about the exchange of the gases, how much amount of the gases we are going to exchange and how much the amount, the exact value for that gases. Respiratory, as we know that the oxygen level in the atmosphere will be 159 and the carbon dioxide will be 0.3. In the alveoli, In the alveoli, the amount of oxygen will be 104, whereas carbon dioxide is 40. In deoxygenated blood, the amount of oxygen will be less that when compared to carbon dioxide, that is 40, but the carbon dioxide is 45. In oxygenator, the amount of oxygen will be more. The name itself, oxygenated, means oxygen level is more. So oxygenator means 95% will be present in the oxygenated blood. Carbon dioxide will be 40, but in tissues, how much the deoxygenated, in how much in deoxygenated blood, how much it is present, exactly same it will be present in the tissues also. Let us will see by diagrammatic wise. I already mentioned you that in the alveoli, the oxygen will be 104 mmHg, but carbon dioxide will be, the partial carbon dioxide will be 40 mmHg in the alveoli part. In the oxygenated blood, this is the oxygenated blood, they will be passes into the tissues and they will supply to oxygenator. In oxygenated blood, it will be partial carbon dioxide will be 40 mmHg, whereas oxygenated in partial oxygen will be 95 mmHg. In deoxygenated blood, partial oxygen will be 40 mmHg, and deoxygenated, D means removal, oxygenated means oxygenless, removal of oxygen is called as the oxygenated. So the carbon dioxide will be more when compared to oxygen in the deoxygenated blood. So this is the exact value for the transport of oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So we will discuss the pulmonary capillary. This is alveoli. This alveolar cavity, this is covered by the top of the endothelium, and it has the three main layers. That is, first is the thin squamous epithelium, basement layer, and the endothelium. This is the endothelium, thin squamous epithelium. This is the thin squamous epithelium, basement membrane, and the endothelium. All these cells are made up of squamous epithelial cells, flat cells. This is flat cells. Okay, thin squamous epithelium, basement membrane, endothelium. The total thickness of this alveoli will be less than 1 mm. The factors affecting the rate of diffusion will be solubility of gases, thickness of the membrane. If the thickness of the membrane, if the membrane will be more thick, then what will happen? The process of exchange of gases will be less. Let us discuss the transport of gases, oxygen and the carbon dioxide, how it will transport. The carbon dioxide will be the oxygen, how it will transport. 97% of the oxygen will be transported through RBC. 3% of the oxygen it will be in the dissolved form in the plasma. This is most important for that of the need. And carbon dioxide, 20 to 25% of the carbon dioxide will be transported through the RBC, whereas 70% carbon dioxide will be transported in the form of bicarbonate, and 7% carbon dioxide will be in the form of dissolved form, that is in the plasma. So bicarbonate is just very important for this NEET exam. Now we will discuss for transport of the oxygen. If oxygen, I will say you one simple trick, that is, if oxygen is more, then dissociation of carbon dioxide will take place. If carbon dioxide is more, then dissociation of the oxygen will take place. So irreversible, means inversely proportional. So sigmoid curve, this is the sigmoid curve. This is most important question in the NEET. Sigmoid curve, it is the curve for y-axis and x-axis. On y-axis, percentage saturation of the hemoglobin with the oxygen and partial oxygen which is present in the mmHg. And if it is left side, if it passes through left side, then oxygen level will be less, and if it is right side, means oxygen level will be more. The factors affecting the transport of oxygen is, we have one of the code, that is CAT-ED. CAT-ED means when there is more amount of the carbon dioxide, when there is acids means more amount of the H plus and the less amount of the pH. Temperature will be more, and when we are doing the more exercise, then there is decreases in the oxygen. So this will, when there is increases on, when there is more amount of carbon dioxide, when there is more amount of acid, temperature and the exercise, all these things will be let's do the right side, means when there is more amount, it is, when it is more amount, then then it is then there is dissociation of the oxygen will takes place, but when there is less amount, then it will be on the right side. Okay, when oxygen is more in the hemoglobin, binding of the oxygen with hemoglobin, it leads to that of the oxyhemoglobin. One hemoglobin is equal to 4 amount of the oxygen. 100 ml of the blood carries 5 ml of the oxygen to the tissues. Okay, this is most important for the NEET examination. Now let's come to carbon dioxide. 100 ml of the deoxygenated blood carries 4 ml of carbon dioxide to the alveoli. These two values are most important for the NEET. Carbon dioxide, I already told that 70 to 75% of the carbon dioxide will be transported in the form of the bicarbonates. When there is more amount of the carbon dioxide, then it will bind with that of the hemoglobin. Then what will happen? Carboxyhemoglobin, it is very poisonous to the health. So this carbon dioxide, when it will binds with the hemoglobin, then it will formation of the, there is a formation of the carboxyhemoglobin. When there is more amount of the oxygen, then the dissociation of this carboxyhemoglobin. This carboxyhemoglobin will decreases when there amount of the carbon dioxide. What is the regulation of this respiration? Pons pneumothoracic center, pons and the pneumothoracic center, this moderate the medulla respiratory rhythm center, which is present in the medulla. Pneumothoracic center is present in the pons, respiratory rhythm center is present in the medulla. So pneumothoracic center, what it will do? It will decreases the inspiration, means it will reduces the inspiration, and respiratory rate will be alters, means it will changes. And then respiratory rhythm center, what is the function of this? It will in turn, it is a chemosensitive center which is used to increases to the carbon dioxide and also H+ ions. Chemosensitive center is present in the respiratory rhythm center. Means chemo means chemical or any other chemicals like CO2. When there is more amount of CO2, then there is stimulation of this respiratory center. In turn, it will send the response to the pneumothoracic center. The receptors which are present in the respiratory center is the carotid artery and aortic arch. It also responsible for the changes in the chemicals, means it will recognize changes in the CO2 and the H+ ions. So the receptors and also this respiratory center, when there is more amount of carbon dioxide, it will respond to that, and it will send the cause stimulation to this pneumothoracic center, and there is a decreases in the inspiration and the respiratory rate will be changes. This is the function of the pneumothoracic center and the respiratory center. This is the regulation of the respiration. Let us we will discuss one of the disorder for this respiration. Asthma, as we know, it is very difficulty in breathing. What is the symptoms of this? Wheezing of the bronchi and the bronchioles due to inflammation. There is inflammation of the bronchi and the bronchioles. Emphysema, because of the many of the people will smoke, because of that emphysema is the common disorder. This is one of the chronic disorder. Alveolar, because of the cigarettes, the alveolar walls are get damaged, and it will be caused by cigarette smoking. Respiratory surface is decreased due to the emphysema. Emphysema is one of the most important disorder in many of the people due to smoking of the cigarette. Occupational respiratory disorder, it will be causes due to the industries. In many of the industries, the people who are working in the industries like grinding or stone breaking, the dust will be produced, and the dust will be inhaled by them, and the body cannot cope this situation. And when there is more long exposure of that long exposure to that industries and all that stone small things, the tiny particles will be inhaled inside, and it causes inflammation, and it leads to the fibrosis is one of the disease when there is inhalation of all the dust particles which is present in the industries. It causes fibrosis, so that the lungs will damage, and so that what we have to do, we have to wear a protective mask while we are the people who are working in the industries. The industries which are grinding or stone breaking, they have to wear a protective mask. If not, they will suffer with this fibrosis disease. If you like this video, just share to your friends. Thank you.